Welcome to another episode of The Latest with Maya. Today, I am so happy to have a conversation with director, screenwriter, and producer Andy Fickman. Andy has directed the movies She's the Man, The Game Plan, Race to Witch Mountain, Parental Guidance, Playing with Fire, and so much more. His most recent project, Wizards Beyond Waverly Place, premieres October 29th on Disney Channel, so be sure to watch it. Andy, thank you so much for being on my show. I'm so excited to talk with you.
Well, thank you so much for having me on. I'm excited to talk to you.
So let's get started. So, who has had the biggest impact on the person you have become?
I would probably say, um, I would probably say my father. He passed away when I was 16, but it was his love of theater, film, and television, and just the arts in general that really defined my childhood. And I don't think I would have pursued a career in the entertainment industry had he not given me such a wonderful education. He was I grew up in Midland, Texas, West Texas, and there was a community theater there, still there, wonderful community theater. And my dad, who was a geologist and a paleontologist, also was a bit of an amateur actor. And he did a lot of the shows there on stage. So my earliest memories as a kid was being backstage with him and his cast and running around the theater. And those memories are just instilled in me to who I am today.
Oh, I love that. And I'm very sorry to hear that.
I appreciate you whenever you deal with loss, you carry that with you for the rest of your life. But then I also feel
Yeah.
like, well, he never got to personally see any of what I'm currently working on or any of never saw my children, never saw any of that. I feel everything I do is instilled with his spirit. And so I
Yeah.
love to feel he's with me every day of my life.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah. Um, so what are people surprised to learn about you?
Um, I love all things paranormal, and uh, from Loch Ness Monster to Bigfoot to
Yeah.
ghosts, I'm there. And I think it usually throws people because about 95% of what I do is comedy. And within that 95% of comedy, about 80% of that is family comedy. And so anytime I dip my toes into the paranormal, I think my friends and fans and family are always thrown by the side that interests me, but has always interested in me.
Yeah. Oh, wow, that's so cool. Yeah, I used to be like really into all that stuff and now it just freaks me out. So
I respect that. I have friends who have said this exact same
thank
thing.
you. Yeah. I blame Supernatural.
You know what? It ran long enough. It was bound to do a trick on you.
Yeah. There's still, I mean, it was such a good show. I was
Gorgeous.
obsessed with that show, and there are still scenes from it that, like, I can't get out of my head. That freaked me
Respect
out.
that.
So,
I respect that.
yeah. Um, so, what was your favorite childhood book?
Ooh, what a great question. By the way, I do a lot of podcasts and these are great questions. You
Thank you.
should, you should teach a course to everybody else on the type of questions to ask. Um, I
Thank
had,
you.
I had two series of childhood books that I was obsessed with. Uh, I love The Chronicles of Narnia. My older brother, one of my older brothers, Alan, gave me the set when maybe I was 11 years old, and I just could not get enough of it and kept reading all of the books backwards and forward. And then years ago, when I was a kid, there was a series of books called Alfred Hitchcock and the Three Investigators. And and it was about three investigators who young teenagers uh, who had a detective agency that they did in and they used a trailer in their junkyard as their headquarters, and the great film director Alfred Hitchcock would come and give them advice. And those two were just really great storytelling and just very cinematic.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I love that. Yeah. So do you have any irrational fears?
I do not like spiders whatsoever.
Uh, yeah.
And I can't, for the life of me, I just cannot deal with them. We did a movie, one of my first movies as a baby producer was a movie called Anaconda. And Jennifer Lopez and Ice Cube and Owen Wilson and Eric Stoltz uh, and we went to the Amazon in Brazil to shoot it. And in order to get from your hotel to the boats to head out to work every day, you went through the forest. And the only thing I always remember was I'd watch the people in front of me because they were ducking and weaving and bobbing, and I realized they were just trying to avoid giant cobwebs. So that's my irrational fear. I know that the odds that I'm going to walk into a man-eating black widow giant 20-foot tall spider are very small, but it is stick. Though weirdly enough, one of my favorite movies is Arachnophobia. So something about facing our fears maybe is it.
Yeah. Well, I can definitely relate to that. I do not like spiders at all. There was the other day it was I saw like I thought it was a spider and like it looked big and I started freaking out and I called my mom because she's the designated bug killer. So
Yeah.
I was like, there's a big bug in here and in this room and my mom came into the room and she started laughing and she was like, okay, one, that's not big, and two, it's a roly poly. So
You know what? I respect that, but I also know I'm now going to call your mom every time I see a bug.
yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, so what is the biggest challenge you have overcome?
Um, I didn't grow up in the entertainment industry. I didn't know anybody. I was a kid from Texas, and the day I graduated college in Lubbock, Texas at Texas Tech, I moved to Los Angeles. And I did not had not gone to film school. And I just dreamed of a life as a director and a writer and a producer, but I just didn't know where to start. And so I think the biggest thing I've had to overcome is just the world of the unknown is in front of you. And I would assume it's something similar to everybody because at some point there was a moment in time where you didn't know how to do a podcast. There
Yeah.
was a moment in time where you thought, I think I'd like to do a podcast. I don't know what that means. I don't know how to do it. I don't know what equipment you need. I don't know how you reach out. But now you're doing a podcast. And so I think I think my journey, no different than anyone else's, which is we have a dream and we pursue the dream.
Yeah.
And when that happens and you can achieve that, that's the greatest feeling in the world is being able to achieve that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, it's such a great feeling when you have a goal and then you accomplish it. And
That's right.
yeah, yeah,
100% correct.
yeah. So, what three words best describe you?
Um, Passionate, tenacious, uh, and probably fun.
I love those. Yeah. Um, yeah, so, what, no matter how many times you see it, always takes your breath away?
My wife and my two children.
Oh,
And I should also say my two dogs too, because they'll be
oh,
very
yeah.
jealous if they found out I was talking about other people in the household and not them.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. So what lessons from your childhood have formed your worldview?
Well, as we started the conversation about the loss of my father, um, I really believe life is for the living, and that my father suffered a massive heart attack. There was no heads up to it. I was the last person to speak to him at night before it happened, and one minute you're there, one minute you're not, and so life is so precious. And if we're
Yeah.
only allowed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we can't change that, we can't get 25 hours out. We can't get an extra day. You have to make the most out of life. And I think being a good person, helping humanity, helping each other, taking advantage, like I, I know if I could trade anything to get one more hour with my dad, I would. And so I think that's the biggest life lesson is just how precious it is and how quickly it goes.
Yeah. Yeah. So what are the songs that make you sing along whenever you hear them?
Um, One of my greatest joys, there's a singer named Jerry Jeff Walker, who's an old country and western singer out of Texas, and his music always gets me going. Elvis Costello always gets me going. Elvis Presley always gets me going. I do a lot of musicals. My musical Heathers,
Yeah. I
always
love
sing
your
along with
hat.
that. Thank you. Um,
Yeah.
I love music. I think doing a lot of musicals and putting a lot of music in movies and television, you just get sort of joyously exposed to so much that it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah, I am obsessed with musicals. I just love them.
It's again, my dad, his love was musical, so we had every soundtrack to every musical ever made, and it just I could just go and play it when I'd get home from school, and I didn't know what the story was about. I could only
Yeah.
kind of imagine based on what I heard, and so it really wasn't until I was much older that I even ever got to New York and ever started seeing shows and stuff.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I just saw my first Broadway show last October.
What did you
Um
see?
Gutenberg.
Oh, great. Two of the
Yeah.
all-time best Broadway musical stars ever on that
Yeah.
stage.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, it was just so surreal. It was incredible.
Oh, how great. What a wonderful opportunity. I'm glad you got to
Yeah.
have.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, so, what genre of movie would your life story be told as?
Well, I want to say a horror thriller, but I don't think that. Um, I would probably say my life story would just be a comedy.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, comedies are great.
That's right. It gets
Yeah.
you unexpected laughs whenever you're least expecting them.
Yes. Yeah. Um, yeah, I'd want my life to be told as I wanted to be a rom-com and a musical.
I love it. I love it. That's perfect.
Thank you.
Good choices. A perfect combo.
Thank you. Um, what small things bring you joy on a daily basis?
Um, I think honestly, I think my kids, because it's usually something unexpected, something that they're going to say or something they're going to do. And also, my dogs are, I find pets, whatever your pet is, if you have a pet, they just sort of unconditionally love you and have no idea what your day was, don't know if it was good, don't know if it was bad. They also don't know who you are as anything other than theirs. And I
Yeah,
think sometimes you're sitting on the couch or in a chair and maybe you haven't had a great day or you're struggling with something and then my dogs will just come over and plop down and, all of a sudden you're like, okay, that
yeah,
is a good reminder.
yeah. Definitely. I love that. Yeah, my dog can always sense when like me or like my mom or my sister are not feeling great or just like feeling kind of down, and she just comes over
Yeah,
and won't leave
yeah.
our side.
I always believe that statement, we don't deserve dogs.
Yeah.
And also cats and all pets,
Yeah.
but it is that way. There's something that they can just sense
Yeah.
that, and then there's a comfort that they provide you. I always feel sad for people who don't like pets or don't
Yeah.
enjoy having that companionship.
Yeah.
I grew up very lucky. We've always had pets in my life. My wife has always had pets. So I've been lucky to continue it in adulthood.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah. So I am pop culture obsessed and I go in stages of shows that I can't stop watching.
Respect.
Um, is there a show that you are currently obsessed with?
Uh, I love Kristen Bell and Adam Brody and Jackie
Yeah.
Tone and Nobody Wants This. I think
Yeah.
that is great. Those are three actors that I love
Yeah.
personally and professionally, and watching that show is a great joy.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah, I watched that show in like 2 days.
Yeah,
I love it. It's so good.
totally agree.
Yeah. Yeah, I before I even knew what the show was about, when I saw it was Kristen Bell and Adam Brody, I love them both so much. So I was like, I can't wait to see this.
I love it. Kristen Bell and Jackie Tone were two of my stars of my show Parents in Chains last night
Oh
that we've been
wow.
working on this week. So, uh, uh, and I've known both of them pretty much for as long as being in Hollywood.
Yeah. Oh, that is so cool. Yeah. Um, yeah, do you have a go-to like comfort show or movie that you just turn on when you kind of need an escape?
You know, not a particular one as much as I will just turn on and see like a movie. I do Notting Hill and Love Actually and Four Weddings and a Funeral are probably three that will always make me smile.
Yeah.
Animal House, I always love. When I'm looking for a little something actiony, I'll always watch Jaws, and so are the first Raiders of the Lost Ark. So there's definitely a handful of movies, depending on my mood,
Yeah.
that I will go to.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah, I have um like a long list of just ones that I like shows and movies that I just rotate
Yeah,
between.
I think that's the smart list.
Yeah. Um So, how do you keep yourself motivated on days you aren't really feeling it?
You know, the entertainment industry generally forces us to be the get up and go people. Nothing gets made in Hollywood or in theater in New York or the West End without you helping drive it. And you can sit and you can wait for the phone to ring, but I've never seen that phone ring.
Yeah,
It's always been getting up and saying, what am I going to do today to make something happen?
yeah,
And uh, I think most of us in life, in order to achieve it, again, for Maya's World, for Here Comes a Podcast, you have to figure out how to make that happen, who to call, what to do. And I think it's just about rolling out of bed and saying, okay, new day, new challenges. And we're not going to win every day, and we're not going to accomplish. Sometimes I can have a ridiculously long list of things I hope to accomplish in that day. And then by the end of the day, I'm like, oh, I did three of the 28 things I was going to do today.
yeah,
And I'm going to roll that over to the next day, and I'm going to roll that over to the next day. But I do
yeah.
think that self motivation is pretty much the only way.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah. Um, Sorry, I'm trying to flip my questions over.
You're doing so great. What an honor.
Thank you. Um, yeah, so I just have one more question for you. Um, so I love inspiring and motivational quotes, and this week my favorite quotation is if it makes you laugh, love, or smile more, then it's worth it. Is there a quotation that has inspired you lately?
I'm going to say that one sounded pretty amazing. Um, but what I really do love about that is I think we all have an option every day how we're going to present ourselves to our friends, to our family, to the world. And I'm always shocked when when you're out and you're shopping or you're at a restaurant or wherever. And the power of a smile to a stranger, not trying to look crazy, not trying to be a stalker, not trying to look
Yeah,
like a joker, but just kindness and a
yeah,
smile. It's so easy to be kind to people. It's so
yeah,
easy to be friendly. It
yeah,
costs nothing. Yet the other way, the sort of guarded or angry or all of that, and obviously people have their reasons for how they're feeling on any particular day. But I love that quote you just gave because I actually really think that sums up how it should be. And if the whole world did that, I know it's as utopian sounding as can be, and it's foolish because it could never happen because human beings are not always great human beings. But boy, the more people who were smiling and loving and laughing and doing all of those things, easier the
yeah,
world would be for everybody.
yeah, definitely. Yeah. Um, well, that was my final question for you.
What a
I
pleasure to be on, and I hope you will have me back on at sometime in the future.
absolutely. I have had the best time talking with you, and I would just love to keep talking with you. So whenever you want to come back on.
It's a deal.
Okay, good. Um, yeah, so yeah, again, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
You as well. And stay away from
Thank you.
spiders
Yes, you too.
and roly polies. Stay away from
Yeah,
roly polies too, because they
yeah,
are about 108 little feet and they're
yeah,
coming
yeah. Yeah, deal.
at.
And that's a wrap on today's edition of the latest with Maya.
Woo!